Hey, have you ever tried Feng Shui? And if so, what were your results? I have some theories on why Feng Shui sometimes doesn't give us the results that we want and why it's better to take a more internal approach. And I'm going to share that with you in this video. Hi, I'm Mark, and on this channel we talk about business and lifestyle design from the inside out. You're a conscious creator, and we talk about manifestation, law of attraction principles to help you get more of what you want in your business and your life. I think these ideas are definitely worth sharing and talking about, because at the end of the day, if we don't rely on our own connection to the source of all creation for our prosperity and abundance and to give us everything we really need, right? If we put our power outside in another individual or system or government or job or employer, it's always going to go south, right? Not to say that any of those things are inherently bad or wrong, but until we plug in ourselves and become self-sustaining, so to speak, which we all are, right? Nothing's really going to work out super great for us. Eventually, things are going to change. Now, having said that, I certainly don't mean that we can't be a part of a company or a team or a group or participate in that way, because that can be very rewarding. But in the bigger scheme of things, if we don't have our own autonomy and we're not retaining our own power, it's never going to be a good situation, right? So that's what we talk about on this channel, is creating the business and lifestyle that you want. But in this video, I want to talk specifically about Feng Shui. You know Feng Shui, right? It's the art of placement. It's the Asian art of placement, originated in China a long time ago. I don't really know when, way before any of us can ever really comprehend, so long ago. And years ago, I used to be huge into Feng Shui. Huge. I'd studied tons of books, studied tons of online articles. That's kind of the reason I wanted to shoot this video. I just threw out a bunch of photocopies and notes from my Feng Shui days, right? And I did it all, right? Mirror behind the stove, 3 coins in the corner tied with the red ribbon. I did it all. I even thought about starting a Feng Shui consulting business back in the day, and I was really close to starting that business, but ultimately didn't feel quite right. I think it would have been fun, and I think it would have been a rewarding experience, but it didn't feel like a great fit, so I didn't do that. But I still implemented a lot of those things, and I want to talk about in this video why I don't think that Feng Shui is the best approach when you're looking to create big change in your life. And just let me give you a little bit of background on my Feng Shui experience and some of the other stuff that I've done. So in college, I studied architecture and eventually graduated with a degree in environment and behavior, which is very similar to environmental psychology. In fact, there's a lot of crossover. But at the university that I studied at, it was in a different department, so it was environment and behavior. But it's essentially environmental psychology. And within that, that's really the practice or the study of place, right? How human beings interact in their environment, how environment shapes or determines human behavior, and then how human behavior can alter or change environment, so to speak, right? That's in a nutshell. But so obviously I had a huge fascination with Feng Shui, and I dove deep into Feng Shui back in the day. This is probably 15, 20 years ago. And the reason that I don't think that Feng Shui is the best approach if you're looking to take radical change is because all of the remedies are outside of ourselves, right? When you're making changes in your environment, it's outside of yourself. Now, I'm not saying that that's not going to reflect back into you and change the way you see yourself, your self-concept, your self-image. But the problem is you got to allow that to reflect back, right? You've got to allow that to happen. And so really the Feng Shui is like medicine, right? It's almost like a placebo effect, because if you take a pill and you think it's going to work, there's a high probability that it's going to work. And I view Feng Shui that way. These are the same things as vision boards or dream boards. Those things, when we see them every day, we know that what we focus on expands, and what we think about, we bring about. Those things get impressed on our consciousness, but we still have to do that internal work. And that's the point I want to make in this video, that sometimes there's no shortcuts, right? There's no easy way out. Excuse me. Nothing's just going to happen by taking a pill or placing an object in a certain area of your home, or putting purple in your home, or putting red in your home, or putting a plant or a live fish. Nothing's going to happen just by doing that. What happens is the change within us, right? Human beings always attract from within as without. And this is the principle that we've learned about from many metaphysicians and law of attraction practitioners. We know this, you know this. But I think we need to remain conscious of how this is changing us, right? We still have to do that internal work. And the work could be as simple as allowing the placement or this thing to work within us, but we still have to do that work. And so as I was throwing out all this Feng Shui stuff, I kind of reflected back, and obviously the big wins, the major accomplishments, the major achievements, the major things that I wanted never really came to fruition in that vehicle. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't contribute, these remedies or these prescriptions, these fixes in the Feng Shui world didn't contribute to where I'm at now and didn't contribute to my happiness and success, because I do remember specific situations where I did apply a remedy and a cure was very quick in that situation. And I don't believe in any randomness, so I attribute it to those types of changes. But overall, in the big picture, I really want to share my experience with this, because I think maybe you've been going through this yourself. Leave a comment below letting me know if you had Feng Shui experience and maybe practice some law of attraction, specifically where you're changing yourself or you're changing your self-concept, right? If you're listening to the channel for very long, you know I'm a big fan of self-image. I talk a lot about being and shifting the way you see yourself, that then allows you to take different actions and get different results. And so let me know in the comment section below if you've had experience with Feng Shui and also with manifesting specifically by changing yourself, right? Not necessarily, doing external things, but I want to talk about like developing your state of being, developing a new self-concept, those types of things. Because the reason I want to find that out is like one's an internal locus of control, and then one is an external, being the Feng Shui. And again, like I said earlier, I'm not saying it can't be reflected back. However, I think we're going to get a lot more bang for our buck when we take that internal approach and focus within, make those changes within, and then we show up differently in the world. Then people respond to us differently. Then the whole universe responds to us differently, because we've set up a different vibration within ourselves. And it just, like I said, it just kind of dawned on me as I was reflecting back, and I wanted to share this in this video, how effective Feng Shui is compared to doing that internal work of developing a self-concept that puts you in alignment with the experiences that you want to have. And by internal work, I mean, what do I mean by that? I mean visualization and emotionalization, right? Seeing yourself in the experiences you want to have, being the person you want to be, doing the things you want to do, but also, most importantly, feeling how you would feel in those situations, right? This is the great common denominator that all manifestation and metaphysicians talk about. Some of my favorites are Joseph Murphy, when he talks about the inverse law of transformation. And this was, if you create the feeling within yourself of having this experience or realizing this accomplishment or reaching this milestone, then that feeling will create the achievement or the accomplishment. Because when you have an achievement or accomplishment, you feel a certain way, and you can reverse engineer that feeling within yourself. All of them say this, right? Feeling is the secret. This is Neville Goddard, Abraham Hicks talks about feeling being your point of attraction. And I think the downfall and the detriment to human beings is we can sometimes look too much outward for our salvation. And again, not to throw Feng Shui under the bus or any other type of modality that deals with rearranging your environment, because I'm a big fan and I know that environment does influence the way we see ourselves, and the two play on one another. But for the fastest, most surefire results, the best way, in my opinion, knowing what I know now, is to work on that self-concept. And then it actually makes us or allows us to take different actions, right? Whether that's walking up to someone, introducing yourself, showing up differently for a task or a job at your work or in your personal life. When you show up different, when you see yourself different, when you believe yourself to be a different way, cultivate that feeling within yourself and hold those ideas in your consciousness, right? Tenacity, driven, bold, determined, grit, all those type of things. That makes you show up different in the world. It honestly changes your point of attraction and your consciousness, your self-concept, and honestly, that changes the way you work and the results that you get, and you get far better results. And actually, you will probably astonish yourself. When I've done this, I've astonished myself over and over again at just how simple that is when you start to see yourself differently in certain situations and you do different things, you take different actions. I wanted, like I said, I wanted to share this with you because right now in the world, this is really important, and we need to remember this, that it's an internal focus that we need to give all of our attention to. And then in doing that, it causes external changes in our experience. So I've talked about this in other videos, and I want to share it with you in this video because I think it's relevant, but we live in a universe that is bound by cause and effect, right? There is no randomness. For everything that goes up must come down. You push on something, you get an equal and opposite push back towards you, so to speak, right? I'm not a quantum physicist, but you and I both know that we live in a universe that is bound by cause and effect. I mean, this is great, right? Because you're not going to wake up one day and up's going to be down and down's going to be up, or in's going to be out and out's going to be in. Simple example, but you're not going to wake up one day and the whole game board's going to be changed, right? There are principles and laws in play. And once we learn those principles and laws, then we can interact in our universe in an awesome way. And I would recommend that you check out the 12 universal principles of the universe. And also, if you want to go a little bit further, I think it's 21 principles by Arnold Patent. I'm going to be doing a video on him and these principles down the road shortly. So if you want to subscribe, I'll share that with you. But check out those and remind yourself of those laws. Law of attraction is only one. There's the law of rhythm. The law of reciprocity, I think, is one. Law of gender, don't hold me to those. It's been a while since I've looked at those. But those 12 universal laws, right? And law of attraction is only one of those laws, right? They're all equally powerful. But my point is, let me get back to my little example here, being and having. Being is the cause of having what you want. This is what I always talk about. And that's why I'm a big fan of Just Be It, The Secret to Having What You Want in Life, the book, Magic of Being series. I talk a lot about being because in my research and in my experience and my studies, I found over and over that if there's one lever you're going to push, if there's one button you want to push, it's to change the way you see yourself. Neville Goddard said, when you change your self-concept, everything will change for you, right? If people change their self-concept, everything would change. And so I don't want to do 25 things, checklists of making sure my experience is going to be the way I want it. I want to do one thing, one simple thing. That's why I'm a big fan of, instead of creating, in addition to creating a vision board, create a being board. And a being board is simply a visual representation of the qualities, characteristics, and attributes that you want to embody within yourself, right? That you want to develop within yourself. And of course, I go through and teach you how to make a being board as one of the bonus contents in the downloads, the free downloads for Just Be It, The Secret to Having What You Want in Life, which is available in Kindle format and also on PDF. You can find out more about that book at justbeitbook.com. Eventually, I'll get that in print version, but right now there's some other things that I'm working on that need my attention and I want to give a little more attention to as opposed to that. But again, being and having, being is the cause, having is the result. And when we think about it in that way, we start to regain a lot of our power. So that's my 2 cents on Feng Shui versus developing your self-image in an internal focus as opposed to an external focus. So let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are about this. I'd be very curious to hear it. So that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my email list for a lot of ideas shared on a minimum of a weekly basis, sometimes more often, head over to gmarkphillips.com and subscribe to my list. When you do, I'm going to give you access to Tools for Conscious Creators, which is an ever-expanding toolbox of metaphysical tools, thought tools, emotional tools to help you get more into alignment with the experiences that you want to have in your business and your life. And these are tools to help you overcome fear, doubt, anxiety, inertia, even tools to help you figure out what you should do, right? There's some very specific questions we can ask ourselves that help us get to the result. Actually, honestly, the answers are inside of us. I really do believe that. But there's some ways we can find out how to get there. And those 11 questions on one of the tools in that toolbox will help you do that. I found a lot of deep insights into myself and self-knowledge within that by answering those questions. And it helps me tune in to what I really want to do with my life and my business, being how I want to spend my time on earth, right? I think it's really important not to just squander our opportunity as human beings and make sure that we're doing what we came here to do, because, life doesn't last forever. I don't have to tell you this. And I think one of the worst things is to get to the end of your life and realize that you never really did what your soul or your higher self tried to help you to do, right? What you came here to do. You have a mission when we come in, right? This is why everyone comes into the world with different attributes, tendencies. They're better at some things, not so great at other things. I mean, you don't have to look around too much to see that people come in with some kind of an agenda. And how deep you want to go with that, you do what you want. But it's just like flowers and birds and trees and plants. They have a purpose, right, in the world, and they have a role to fill. I call it the psychobiodiversity of the planet, and you have a role to fill. So go check that out and let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day, and thanks for putting up with my little scruff here. I've been a little bit negligent on shaving during the quarantine here. But again, I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. That lets me know if this is helpful to you. So thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day. All the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.